Going on? And this is Warwick coming back at you with another video. So usually, I come here talking about Victory Monday. But we're just going to call today Beatdown Sunday, right? Because the Atlanta Falcons got beat down yesterday. Um, it wasn't a pretty sight yesterday. First time this season that I actually left the game early. It was a wrap. I just had to go ahead and leave. I couldn't sit there and waste my time watching the rest of that. So, yep, I left early and something I normally don't do, but it was really disappointing. The performance the Atlanta Falcons put on yesterday. Kudos to the Seattle Seahawks, who had been reeling for 3 straight games. They definitely came in the most desperate team, more prepared team, in my opinion, and they came out and they spanked our Atlanta Falcons at home, which was not a good thing to watch yesterday. So we're definitely going to get into it, talk about it, some things that they might can fix. My thought on the game, what I thought, what really transpired. And then I'll get you guys' thought, let you guys tell me what you think. And then we got to move on to going right back into the division. We got my next 3 game, in my opinion, is huge for us. They all in NFC. We got 2 division games coming up in the next 3 games, so it's really big for us to try to capitalize and don't lose, the momentum that we gained the last 3 weeks because we had a poor outing on Sunday. So that's what I'm hoping we get to see. Go ahead and put this game behind us. Hopefully it's an anomaly. I mean, something that we don't expect to see. We had one early in the season on week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we had another one here. Hopefully it's not something that we could really, think is going to be the outcome of our team moving forward, right? So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're not dropping another video. Please hit the like button, so I know you guys are here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in here and talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to get your comments in just a minute. Let's go do a quick breakdown of the game, though. In the future, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the breakdown on the screen for you guys can see it with me. We can just quick breakdown. But yesterday, the Atlanta Falcons, you look at the breakdown of the game, Atlanta Falcons had 71 plays. Yes, they had 71 plays. The Seahawks only had 56. So you look at the time possession, the Atlanta Falcons actually possessed the ball longer than the Seattle Seahawks yesterday. That should tell you something. The Atlanta Falcons had 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 3 turnovers. You -3 in the game. I could just say that wasn't really the game in itself right there, but it was. Yes, it had a big factor in the game, the turnovers in itself. But when you limit possessions, take away 3 possessions, then you look at some of the other possessions where penalties affect us or not just executing on certain plays. We had to get off the field from a offensive standpoint, really hurt us. We was once again over 50% on 3rd down. Like some of these things that we was having issues with earlier in the season is starting to look going our favor, but it did not affect yesterday's outcome. Like I said, time possession, we was more 3rd down, we was better. When we got in the red zone, I thought we actually did really good. We had rushing yards yesterday, 155. The rushing games was really outstanding. We're going to get more into that in just a minute. Passing game, 214 yards. But like I said, in my opinion, the biggest take from this game is the turnovers. 3 turnovers and the penalties. Once again, penalties reared their head for our Atlanta Falcons. When you look at penalties and things like that, you think of an undisciplined team. I don't think the team's undisciplined. It's just more about focus and detail. And then sometimes the refs just, get things wrong as well. So when you factor in, all those 3 to different scenarios, you come to, putting the game into referees' hands, you can definitely lose in that aspect. But, things that's really bothering us when you look at the stat sheet here, like I said, is the penalties and the turnovers is really where you can look at and try to, if you eliminate those things from the game yesterday, Atlanta Falcons maybe have a more favorable outcome yesterday. But when you're -3 in the turnovers, and you have so many penalties, you know, you can chalk that up to a loss most of the time in the game. But guys, when I really think about this game in itself, I don't really want to put it on the penalties and just the turnovers, right? I mean, yes, that's the from the stat standpoint. You can look at it and say, from a stat standpoint, you can kind of look at it. If you didn't see the game, you say, okay, well, they had, 3 turnovers. They had nine penalties for 72 yards. That could definitely be outcome why you lose the game. But when you're looking at the game in totality, I really don't think that tells the whole story of this game, and we definitely gonna get into that. So let's get to some EQ comments here real quick. First comment, um, well, what to take on the game? Everyone else wants Captain Kirk's head. I think we just got played and not coach. Bad game all the way around. Do you give up on them yet? So pretty much let's go through this comment real quick. You said what's my take? My take is I agree with you. They got to play. They got to coach. We're going to get into that a little bit more. Kirk Cousins had a bad game. Yes, that's goes without saying. 3 turnovers, all on him alone. That ball to Drake was too high. That's why I got tipped. We know Drake used to come down with things like that. Yes, it was all on him completely. And yes, it was just a bad game. Special teams, defense, and offense all around. And no, I'm not going to give up on them yet. From what we've seen, I think this team is a resilient team, and we're going to see what they're made of going into these next 3 games. I think these next three games are important for Atlanta Falcons. We'll definitely see what we got. The next point you made, maybe the mob didn't want to pay off all the bets on Atlanta. Yeah. Oh no, man. I just don't know what happened because the refs didn't help. They definitely did help. Like I said, referees will hurt you in this game. All right, so let's get to the first point that you made. And it was a bad game, and it was a bad game in all 3 phases, right? We can go around and look at, so we look at week one loss, right? Definitely it was the offense. Special teams and defense played well in that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our offense did not show up, right? You go to the Kansas City game, the same thing. Offense didn't show up. Our special teams and defense played well against the Kansas City Chiefs. Special teams did not show up. Yesterday, it was really, really strange because neither phase for the Atlanta Falcons showed up yesterday. Offense, defense, or special teams, they all did not play well. And we thinking about things like that. When you think about the keys, I go over the keys, I go special teams, defense, offense, right? And yesterday, none of those guys lived up to those keys at all. And it was piss poor performance by our team yesterday. I think Raheem Morris said they came out flat. Yes, I would agree with that 100%. They did come out flat, but you take games like this, and I think Justin Simmons said it best. Everything is going good, right? You're riding high. You're getting all these great wins in the last minute of the games right there. You won the game you're supposed to win against the Carolina Panthers, but when adversity hits, what the team is made of, right? So it's a bad game, right? So you're going to bottle this game. You're going to make the corrections, look at the film and things like that. Today, that's what they did today. And then Wednesday, of course, they probably watch Monday Night Football because they're going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then on Wednesday, they build a game plan for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's really going to want their get back, right? Because we beat them in overtime on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Definitely the Tampa Bay Buccaneers want to get back, which implications could be for number 1 again in the division. So that's definitely something that we got to be prepared for. But get the corrections in today, which I'm pretty sure they did. They went through the tape. Be honest. You got to tell the truth. A lot of people call it Tell the Truth Monday. Yes, you're going to tell the damn truth, right? What happened You got to fix this. We can't have this. Can't have this. Whatever the case may be. A lot of veterans on the team. I'm pretty sure that they're going to stand up and admit guys like Kirk Cousins himself, who made a lot of mistakes yesterday, going to point the fingers at himself, be the man in the mirror, and say, understand that he has to play better. EQ says, Simmons has not impressed me at all. Just saying, yes, I agree with you. And I'm going to talk about that because the one play in particular, when you're thinking about Simmons is and honestly, guys, when I saw the play, I know you guys seen it because this second week in a row where the Atlanta Falcons have gave up a touchdown in the half, right? Just piss poor execution by the defense in the half, 2 weeks in a row, right? One against Carolina and once again against the Seattle Seahawks, which in my opinion was a momentum backbreaker for the Atlanta Falcons. But everybody looking at AJ Terrell on that play, right? AJ Terrell had outside. Raheem Morris explained a little bit better in his press conference today, but AJ Terrell had outside. He was releasing DK Metcalf into the safety. At this point in time, the safety was Justin Simmons. It looked like it was Jesse Bates, right? Because Jesse Bates came in. Jesse Bates trying to make a play. Jesse Bates had the other side of the field. That's why he came in late. But Justin Simmons supposed to pick up the post inside to DK Metcalf. AJ was playing outside cut leverage. That's why it looks like that. Now it looks like he got burnt. I won't gonna lie. Initially, I thought it was supposed to be Nate Landman, who was playing middle linebacker, who was supposed to play deeper drop there. And if he would have got a deeper drop, I think that would have helped as well because you're playing cover 2. But the way Raheem Morris explained it, they was playing the sidelines, making sure that the Seahawks could not throw the ball towards the sideline to get out of bounds and kick a field goal. So, but Geno rated a perfect play because the safety and AJ was not on the same page. Justin Simmons, I guess Justin assumed that AJ was going to stay inside. No, just AJ was staying outside. Justin was supposed to stay inside. And we got a clean route right down the middle of the field. And that was just piss poor execution. To your point about Justin Simmons, you do got to remember he is just giving this team. He probably still trying to learn the defense. But I do agree with you. It still seems like the communication between him and what he's supposed to be doing in his defense is kind of off right now. Hopefully he can make corrections to that and be better for it, moving forward. But at this point in time right now, you're right. Honestly, him and Matt Judon has not lived up to the big acquisitions that we thought we was going to see. They paid off earlier. Of course, Justin coming right out, getting a pick against Patrick. Matthew Judon making big plays, early. But as of late, you're 100% correct. It has not been showing those dividends. And, and that's why you look at the Falcons not, giving guys contracts after they make trades for them or bringing them in is a big thing, right? You have to, and I think Matt Judon said it best than anybody. You have to prove yourself, and he has not proved himself yet. So, but when you're looking at it, that's what I think about, Justin Simmons right now, what you mentioned about him. Said, not just this game. I see the missed coverage, missed tackles, and the way out of position. Yes, I really believe that he's still trying to figure out what he's supposed to be doing, man. I just believe that. And I think eventually he's going to figure it out. But, you miss OTAs. You miss pretty much the entire training camp, except probably last 2 weeks. He's still learning. So I believe he's going to figure it out. Hopefully he do, because, we still got lots of game left. We definitely do. Right now we got 10 games left in the season, so it's a lot of games left. But it's got to get better, hopefully. And if it doesn't, it's going to be bad for us. Just the TD and Carolina game, that was on his man. The TB and game and Evans across his face was wide open. TD on TD. So hopefully he can correct it, man. I'm looking like Richard Grant out there a little bit. So, so we'll just have to see. about Justin. Hopefully he get better. All right. I think, guys, what I really want to talk about today is, and I don't know if when we talking about this, if I'm like hitting just my thoughts here, and you guys can chime in anytime you get ready when I'm talking about this, but the Atlanta Falcon defensive scheme, I don't like it. I I just don't like the scheme at all. I thought Atlanta Falcons defense played better last year, to be honest with you. Especially before Grady went down and Grady got hurt. I thought it was 100% better stopping the run. Now that was in a 4-3 defense. They played more 4-3 instead of 3-4. So you play 3-4. Your linebackers got to be really, really good in the run game. But I just feel like the Atlanta Falcons defense, it's not really good right now, and I don't like the scheme. I really don't. I like I understand the philosophy, or not giving up explosive plays, right? Keeping the two safeties back, having more of a light box. But if you're gonna do that, your front seven gotta start to make plays, especially in the run game, to get teams into third and long and things like that. And especially in these last couple of weeks, just giving up plays, especially towards the end of the game, end of half and things like that. It just seemed like you giving too much ground, and you expect the teams to come up and make plays, and instead of being more aggressive, in the pass coverage, it seemed like you're not as aggressive in pass coverage as I would like. So the scheme itself, to me, needs to be looked at a little bit. And then I know it goes from opponent to opponent, game to game, and things like that. But the Atlanta Falcons defense they've been making plays. So you want to tip your hat off to these guys, because they have been making plays, at opportune times to get off the field, to get the ball back, and things like that. But when you looking at the scheme in itself, I don't like it. I don't like it. And be honest with you, that's what I'm looking at. And I don't know if it's the personnel. You can say, somebody might say it's the personnel they got to try to fit the scheme and things like that. And my whole philosophy about scheme and personnel is that you do not create a scheme if you don't have players to play in that scheme, because it's not going to work, right? So you only have the talent you got on your roster. You only have the talent you got on your roster. So you're trying to fit, and the whole saying, you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, right? If you're trying to do that, it's not gonna be successful. It's just not. So if you got a scheme and you're like, this is my philosophy, this is my scheme, well, your players don't fit that, right? So you have to utilize the players you got and put them in the best position to be successful, right? So so just say I don't have shut down corners. I can't play man to man. I love to play man to man, right? Like a New Orleans Aints, right? The way they love to do. They like to rush forward. They like to be real tight coverage, man to man coverage. Well, that means you got to have good cornerbacks to do that, because if you don't, it's not going to work, right? It's sort of like the Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart love playing man to man coverage. That's what he does, week in and week out. Play man to man coverage. His guys get exposed, right? In the pros, you will really get exposed if you try to do that, if you don't have good coverage corners. So, like, I understand Raheem Morris. You know Raheem Morris' background. Think about the coaches he's been with, right? He started with in Tampa, with Money Kiffin, right? That Tampa 2 is famous, but you look at the personnel they had to run that, and it was ran to perfection. But look at the guys they had: Rondé Barber, Derrick Brooks, Warren Sapp, right? John Lynch playing safety, right? They had guys all up and down the middle of that defense, and guys on the outside that could cover as well, to be able to run that scheme that they wanted to run. So when you think about, I got a scheme, You got to have the personnel to run it. So Jimmy Lake wants to run 2 high safeties. I like our safeties. Despite what we just talked about with Justin Simmons, still trying to learn the defense, I think. But him and Jesse Bates back there. Linebackers, I think Troy Anderson is definitely a better cover linebacker than Nate Landman. So if you're going to utilize, linebacker and coverage, you probably want to utilize Troy Anderson a little bit more, which Raheem Morris said that he think he's going to actually be practicing this week, which is a good thing. We'll have him back out there. Nate Landman is more of a downhill linebacker, come down and shut the run down, right? And then K Netlis a little bit to do everything. He can make some coverage, but I think he actually is a better pass rusher more than anything. Go back to his days in New Orleans. Last year there, he had over 8 sacks rushing the passer. So, try to mix all those guys in together and try to create what you want to create from a defensive standpoint. Now, we look at they had Natrone Brooks up yesterday. They had Kevin King up yesterday because they knew that the Seattle Seahawks were going to spread Atlanta out and they was going to pass the ball a lot. Right. So when you think about the scheme, personally, I don't like it because I don't think it's as effective as we want it to be with the personnel that we got. And I think they need to just switch it up a little bit, be a little bit more multiple and things like that. We do have the personnel to run some 4-3 sometimes, bring down 4 linemen, defensive linemen, and do it that way, and be a little bit more stout. So get out of some of the things that I think is the strength because you kept all those defensive linemen. Maybe you utilize them a little bit more because that's where your depth is, and try something like that. Especially when we talk about my next point is the pass rush. Right at this point in time, the Atlanta Falcons pass rush is pretty much non-existent. Now we got pressure a couple of times on Geno Smith. We got a sack yesterday, of course, 1 sack. We got another one that the intentional grounding probably should have been a sack, but he got rid of the ball, but it did cause a penalty, pushing them back, intentional grounding. But for the most part, the Atlanta Falcon pass rush does not exist. So when I'm at the game, I do a little experiment, right? I do a little experiment. If you look at most quarterbacks in the league, the ball is out their hand probably 3 seconds. A lot of quarterbacks, the ball out their hand in 2.3 seconds, right? Ball is out like this. It's out. All right. I do experiment. When I look at the Falcons pass rush, I count. I go back when they show the replay. I count the seconds. And it's a lot of times when I count for the Atlanta Falcons, the quarterback is still in the pocket with like 5 seconds still with the ball in his hand. Right? So now when you're thinking about pass rush, ask yourself how long you want your DBs to stay attached when you got a pass rush and the quarterback is holding the ball 5 seconds, right? And now he's leaking out. He's making plays like Geno made a couple plays yesterday. You're not getting home. You're not keeping your gaps, and the guys get out and he's taking off, right? 5 seconds is a long time for any quarterback to be able to throw the ball. They pretty much can get through every progression they got, and they're going to find somebody, all right, all the way down to their check down to their back. That's how long that is when you count. And then to top it off, to make it worse, when we talk about the pass rush, a lot of this time the Atlanta Falcons are sending 5 pass rushers instead of 4. They're sending 5, and him sending an extra pass rush, and the quarterback still is not getting the ball out of his hand fast. He's still able to hold a rock and find an open man. These are the issues that Atlanta Falcons are having right now. The pass rush is non-existent. And if you look at the pressure rate, the Atlanta Falcons I think they're like top 7 in pressure rate in the NFL. So they are bringing pressure to the quarterback, and they are getting him off his spot, but they're not getting him down to the ground. He's extending the play for the most part. So it doesn't make sense. And I think Tori McElhaney, she mentioned this on the last podcast they had, was where the other 6 teams that's in front of the Atlanta Falcons that's creating pressures like that are some of the top teams that's actually getting the quarterback to the ground. Where the Atlanta Falcons are generating just as much pressure as those teams, but they're not getting home, right? So that's an issue, right? You're one of the top teams in pressures, and it's being successful at your pressure rate, but it's not producing anything, which is just baffling. It doesn't make sense at all. And they got to be able to do something. Um, initially I thought maybe they make a trade before November 5th, try to bring in some help. But I don't know if this team is just a one pass rusher away to being the team that we wanted to be. Because I think it's a little bit more issues than, like I said, the run game on the defensive side is not where it needs to be. The pass rush definitely is not there. And then I don't like the scheme. It's just me. And I'm overreacting because of one game, but it's been this way all season, really. Like I said, the Atlanta Falcons players have made big plays, made great plays when they need to make plays. That's why when you're looking at the Atlanta Falcon wins, it's because guys been making great plays throughout the season. That's what they've been doing. They've been making great plays throughout the season, getting stuff done. Jesse Bates punch outs, right? Timely interceptions, a timely sack here, or something like that. You look at the Aints game, right? Tilt, interception, pick six, right? Interception by Jesse Bates, the knockaway by Jesse Bates in the end zone in the Philly game, the interception by Justin Simmons, right? The interception by AJ Terrell last week. Just timely plays that the defense been making. But if you look at the defense in its totality, it has not impressed me to the point where I'm like, they're a dominant defense. And one guy coming in, we make a trade for one guy. Will that fix everything? And I'm saying maybe not, right? And Raheem Morris definitely to look at it. I do believe, in my opinion, I think if you make the personnel you got on the team fits, do something a little different, in my opinion, I think they'll play better. But right now, I mean, this is a scheme they've been in since OTAs. I do believe the players got buy-in. They're just not executing what the coaches are asking them to do. And we're not getting the results that we want from a defensive standpoint. So that's what I really believe. I thought it was a bad game to start off. Definitely thought that the scheme, I don't like the scheme from the defense standpoint. Then the pass rush is non-existent. They have to do something with the pass rush, right? And then last name but not least, I think EQ mentioned it earlier, and that's the fact that they got that coached. They simply got that coach. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks is like 27 in rush defense, right? And Atlanta Falcons, I think I mentioned they had 155 yards on the ground. They could have had a lot of more yards than that. They would have just ran the ball. Seattle could not stop the run. And I don't understand why Zach Robinson went away from that. You just run the ball, man. It was effective. They was moving the ball. I think one drive, the first down, it was got 7 yards on the run. Bijan ran the ball. It was 2nd and 3, and the next two plays, Zach Robinson called 2 pass plays. I don't understand why he did that. I mean, and then when the drive got stalled, I mean, those are some of the things you have to question, and you was kind of buying into what the Seattle Seahawks wanted you to do. They wanted you not to play to your strength, which is their weakness is running. They couldn't stop the run, man. And they were selling out to stop it. And then that's when you go off the play action and things like that. But I thought the game plan was flawed from the beginning, especially in the first half. They did commit to the run on one drive, and we saw what happened. That was the drive Bijan scored. It was just completely domination by the offensive line, the run game. It was something spectacular to watch. But in reality, I just thought the game plan was bad. We knew that the Seattle Seahawks want to come out and pass the ball a lot. I thought that, like I said, the Atlanta Falcons should have been a little bit more aggressive, in the secondary, man, playing off and giving up, yards. Don't like that at all. I thought they kind of settled down a little bit in the game, but for the most part, gave up too many explosive plays yesterday. So yes, they got out coached. So if you look at the title of this, I say the Atlanta Falcons got punched in the mouth yesterday. And the question is, how will these guys respond? Right? They had to tell the truth Monday today. They go in and look. I believe in this coaching staff. I like this coaching staff. And they're going to believe in their convictions. If the guys execute what they call, they think they can get it done. Right? We just heard that some guys with communication still had issues in the back end, right? They need to fix that, get that fixed. They need to still get the leaky run game fixed on the defensive end. And then what they need to do is 100% get healthy again, get Tranderson back out there. And I think he could definitely help. But for the most part, guys, the Atlanta Falcons, it was a letdown yesterday, but I don't think it's something that we need to start to panic about and feel like this team can't be competitive this year. I still believe they can. I still think they can win the NFC South. But we do understand that, you want to start to playing your best ball coming up here on this next month coming up. So it's crucial for Atlanta Falcons to start to rectify some of these issues they have. From an offensive standpoint, like I said, if you just call a better game, don't turn the ball over, I think you have a better outcome there anyway. So I'm not going to harp on the offense too much, but I think the defense, it just was not a great execution there. We're going to look at some of the things that people had to say. Raheem Marvin just don't have the right guys. It started. See Eddie here. He's a scheme guy, because obviously that's what he always talk about, people's schemes and things like that. I don't believe in that, because Raheem Morris didn't draft all these guys. He only drafted guys he got this year, so he have to take the guys that's on his roster and make them fit the best of their ability, right? If he come in and be like, they need to run my scheme, it's not going to be successful. They don't know how to run his scheme. So you got to be a good coach. That's what coaching all about. And I don't like the fact that guys try to say, I don't have the guys run my scheme. Well, what if they take that scheme out the league? That means you can't coach no more. I mean, I don't like that. So he got the talent he has. He has to make that talent play the best of their ability. So I don't like the he don't have the guys kind of theory. I don't like that. So you got the guys. You got freaking 53 guys on your team, 48 on game day. Freaking make them do what they do best and live with it. So that's what I feel about it. Middle of the field is wide open. It's like covering the short routes and deep routes. No middle zone. Yeah, like I said, I just don't like the scheme. It's just me. And if he's trying to run the scheme, you got to change it up a little bit. I like to trade for Max Crosby, but will it take 2 first rounds? I don't know, man. Like I said, but the question is, will Matt Crosby fix everything? Like I said, I did believe that at one point, but I don't know. Will Max Crosby fix everything? I still would try it. Don't get me wrong. I will still entertain bringing somebody like Max Crosby in, but I just don't know. Just don't know at all. But guys, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on yesterday's game. I love to come back the day after. I don't like to talk, when I'm heated and mad after the game, because like I told you guys, I take losses to the heart. I really do. And it is what it is. I wish I didn't, but I do. So I don't want to talk about the game. I need a 24-hour reprieve to come back and tell you guys, give you guys my thought. with a clearer mind. I like to listen to what the coaches say and things like that, and then try to because at the end of the day, we don't know what they was thinking when they call plays and things like that. So you want to hear their mindset about the game. But for me, it's not overreacting. I'm really interested to see how did this team respond. Is it the same old Falcons that we've been dealing with for years, where they just snowball and start going the opposite direction, or do they say, "Yeah, we had a hiccup and we're going to get back on track"? That's what I want to see from this team. How do they respond this week? Going back into the division, and that's really what it's all about anyway. If we can win the division, the Atlanta Falcons is guaranteed a nod into the playoffs. And that's what we asking for. So if they can do that, that would be great. But guys, there you have it. Those are my, my comments and my thoughts on yesterday's game. What happened? We talked about that. And how will they respond moving forward? Tune back in Wednesday to my keys to victory. We'll definitely get into that. And I'll let you know what I think it would take to sweep the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody look at the game tonight, get an idea how they're playing. I think they've been playing well, just as well as anybody else in the league. Baker Mayfield has really been on it. I do like the Ravens tonight because of Lamar Jackson record against NFC. They've been really dominant against NFC teams, so we're gonna be interested to see how that pans out. But guys, there you have it. Those are my thoughts. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.